Good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on Art Television with me, Tirantha Gunawardana. Let's take a look at today's headlines first. Certain individuals are misusing freedom by spreading false information, says President. We must not fall victims to traps set to divide the country, says Minister Kabir Hashim. In your top story today, President Maithripala Sirisena recently chaired a meeting with politicians, state officials and security service chiefs in the Kaltara district. During the meeting, President Sirisena claimed that certain individuals are misusing the independence that has been established by spreading false information. The importance of the role played by regional political leaders and state officers in order to safeguard national security was discussed during the meeting. Further, steps that could be followed to establish a peaceful environment within all ethnic groups was also addressed during the meeting. A series of discussions of this nature were conducted during the previous several days at provincial and district level under the leadership of the President, and the Kaltara meeting was the 12th district program in the series. The discussion series will be continued under the patronage of the President in the other districts as well. In more developments, a special press conference was held today with the participation of the Minister of Highways and Road Development, Kabir Hashim, former Ministers Firil Ashraf and Imtiaz Bakir Makar, and President's Counsel Ali Sabri. Speaking at the press conference, Minister Hashim had this to say.
The four of us here are representing the civil society, the Muslim civil society of Sri Lanka, and we felt that it was our duty to come and address the nation at this very important time. The incidents that took place a few days ago in the Kurunegala district and in the Gampaha district were heartbreaking to see and hear, but for us it was more painful when on April 21st, there was this bomb explosions that took place across the island. That was really painful for us as a community because we realized that we were more the victims of it. And the Muslim community at large, the mainstream Muslim community has not been understood very clearly. That's what we decided we should speak to the nation.
Speaking further, Minister Hashim noted that those who perpetrated the attacks on April 21st are not followers of true Islam.
The four of us here represent that mainstream Muslim community. And what we have continually said is that our background, the Muslims have been an integral part of this country from the Sinhala kings onwards. The history speaks for itself. We've defended the nation in various times when the nation was under threat. And the minority, a very small minority of people who carried out the acts on April 21st and who were responsible for that treacherous act are not, in our opinion, are not really people who follow our faith, being part of our faith. Then at the moment, as Muslims, we've come out and spoken against this.
Minister of Highways and Road Development Kabir Hashim also spoke regarding the actions adopted by the majority of the Muslim community following the attacks.
When this thing happened, there has been continuous self-criticism and an introspection of the Muslim community itself. The ACJU, the All Ceylon Jamiatul Ulama, has supported at this moment of time the forces to give as much support for in terms of looking at finding out the people behind this action. Muslims in various parts of the country have turned over and shown the forces and the intelligence groups where these people have been hiding. They've been cooperating fully. Parents have gone and handed over their children if they had a doubt about the activities of their children. We've made that commitment so much. That is why we have made this appeal that do not put the mainstream Muslims into that minority. Because when the incidents in Kurunegala and Gampaha occurred, that didn't represent the majority of the Sinhala community. And we wouldn't judge the majority Sinhala community by the acts of a small group. In the same way, this small minority of so-called Muslims should not convince you to judge all of us in the same way. That's the key message.
Mr. Hashim also stated that no one should fall victim to forces that are trying to divide communities and the country.
The religious leaders and the Muslim intellectuals are looking at the change in our Madrasa Act, in our religious acts, and to look at whether we have also brought in foreign ideology which is not part of our religion and what we should do away with, and whatever has held us back in integration with the mainstream of this country, then we are going to look at making the necessary changes And there are various forces that would like to divide us and divide our country. And we should not walk into those traps, that we stay united and work together. And we are making that commitment as Sri Lankans.
It's time for us to go in for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned for more news after this. Welcome back. The United Nations World Tourism Organization has called on the global community to lend its fullest support to Sri Lanka during the current crisis. Issuing a special statement, Secretary General of the UNWTO, Zurab Pollikashvili, expressed the following in this regard.
I have had the privilege of seeing Sri Lanka emerge as one of the world's great tourism success stories. The country offers a warm welcome to visitors from all over the world, regardless of nationality or creed. In return, tourism has provided many Sri Lankans with secure jobs, helping world communities' growth and development. Tourism has also been a major factor in the past decade of national reconciliation and contributed to bringing the people of Sri Lanka closer together.
The UNWTO Secretary General also elaborated upon the role played by tourism in the reconciliation process of Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka's tourism sector is a beacon of hope and unity. That's why those who seek to divide us target hotels and other places where people come together. I offer my sincere condolences to those affected by the recent attacks, especially the families of the many victims. I also call on the global community to offer its unwavering support to Sri Lanka at its critical moment. The country's hotels, beaches and sites of interest are open as usual and ready to welcome you. By continuing to offer support through tourism, we can help Sri Lanka recover and continue on its path towards peace and prosperity.
According to the Sri Lanka Purchasing Managers Index released by the Statistics Department of the Central Bank for April 2019, both the manufacturing and service sectors have declined significantly. The manufacturing sector PMI recorded an all-time low index value of 41.0 in April 2019 with a decline of 25.9 index points from March 2019. This decline was mainly driven by a significant drop in both new orders and production, especially in manufacturing of food, beverages and tobacco and manufacturing of textiles, wearing apparel, leather and related activities products. This decline was mainly due to the New Year holidays in April and the security concerns that arose following the Easter Sunday attack, which affected the smooth functioning of factory operations. Employment also dropped significantly as a higher number of employees were absent after the New Year holidays. The stock of purchases decreased due to the decline in new orders at the end of the New Year season and brought forward stocks of raw materials from previous month. The supplier's delivery time lengthened at a higher rate due to the increased security measures after the Easter Sunday attack. All sub-indices excluding supplier's delivery time of PMI manufacturing recorded values below the neutral 50 threshold, signaling an overall contraction in manufacturing activities in April 2019 compared to March 2019. The services sector deteriorated in April 2019 compared to March 2019, underpinned by decline in all 5 sub-indices, namely new businesses, business activity, employment, backlogs of work, and expectations for activity. The deterioration in new businesses, business activity, and expectations for activity was mainly due to the Easter Sunday attack and prevailing uncertainty in the country. This was observed across a majority of the subsectors in the services sector, particularly in accommodation, food and beverage, and other personal services subsectors, which largely depend on the tourist arrivals, and wholesale and retail trade, and transportation subsectors, which largely depend on day-to-day activities of the people. However, respondents in the survey states that they expect the situation to normalize by June 2019. Prices charged in the services sector increased at a slower rate in April 2019 due to price increases related to the New Year festival. Also, the expected labor cost in the services sector increased at a slower rate due to realization of expected salary increments in April 2019. The London Stock Exchange Group recently announced the signing of a landmark memorandum of understanding with the Colombo Stock Exchange to facilitate further collaboration between the two groups. The signing ceremony held at the London Stock Exchange Group's office in London was attended by Mark Field, UK Minister of State for Asia and the Pacific, Manisha Gunasekara, High Commissioner of Sri Lanka in the UK, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ranil T. Vijayasinghe, Chairman of the Securities Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka, Ray Abeyewardena, Chairman of the Colombo Stock Exchange, Rajiva Bandaranayake, CEO of the CSE, and Nikhil Rathi, CEO of the LSEG and Director of International Development LSEG, and D. Lianwela, Group Head of Shared Services Centres and Head of LSEG Technology Sri Lanka. The MOU will enable LSEG to support the CSE in development of the domestic debt market, including the market for offshore Sri Lankan rupee bonds, LSEG technology support in upgrading capital market infrastructure and delivering technology solutions to the CSE, FTSE Russell guidance in capital market classification and index inclusion, and improving links to international central securities depositories. It's time for us to slip in for a short commercial break. Stock updates are coming up after this. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The All-Share Price Index gained 51.81 points to close at 5,251.79 and the S&P SL 20 gained 13.33 points to close at 2,454.73. Turnover was 552.4 million rupees and 11.8 million shares were traded. Now let's take a look at today's forex rates. That's it from State of Business for the day. Do join us tomorrow at the same time for more of the very latest. Until then, take care. Good night.